Um, Ethics is about big questions and small technical questions. It's not necessarily about life and death every time. It's about when frames collide. We have frames of reference that guide our actions where we have values and principles. Morality is one of them, legality is one of them, but also from your education, you have culture, values, principles. You might have a religion that is another set of guiding principles. And if everything is aligned, great. If things are not aligned, but you have an order or preference between them, great. The issue and ethics comes very much to the center of the stage when the frames of reference clash and you don't know what to do. That's the story of Antigone, very much the story of Antigone. So we've been there for 2,500 years. So let's go back to very broadly Antigone. So Antigone. So most of you must remember Oedipus, and Oedipus who marries his mother, kills his father. So it's that family, that lovely family. That's why I'm saying that it's a bit confusing because sometimes the uncle is also the cousin. Basically, it's that family. And Jocasta, um, who's the mother and wife of uh, Oedipus. And they have three children. There's Antigone and two brothers. One brother leaves the city of Thebes, and comes back with an army to destroy the city. The other brother stays in the city and under the leadership, the king is their uncle, Creon, and he defends the city. Both of them died. Both brother of Antigone died, but one attacking the city and one defending the city. So Creon, the uncle and the king, says the one who defended the city gets a burial and is celebrated by the city. The other one whose corpse is over there in front of the city of Thebes, he doesn't get a burial. And anyone who buries his body will be punishable by death. Antigone, I'm not going to go into the, but Antigone, she's born against. There's something in the names already in all of Antigone. Antigone is torn between an instruction by the law, by the king, but also by her uncle, who, when her parents died, became his guardian. So he's a bit also of a father figure, who tells her not to do that, but also she doesn't want her brother to be cursed and to not have a burial. So she has many frames. There's the legal frames of the city that tell her not to do it, but the traditional frame, the frames of tradition, tell her that she has to give a proper burial to someone of her tribe, someone of her family, to her brother. There's, I'm not going to go into details, but the opening scene of Antigone is a conversation with another woman where they talk about oppression of men, and so there is a dimension here. It's also the group who says that she shouldn't do it, and at her as an individual who's going to do it. There's the abiding by the principle of your family against abiding by the principle of the collective. And she's going to go bury her brother. Very limited, very minimal, but she's going to go against the law. And then Creon is going to be himself in front of a dilemma because as the head of the city, as the king, he has to enforce the law. So he has to punish her. But he's also her uncle and her guardian. So now he has to kill his daughter slash niece. And he doesn't want to do that either. Several people are going to try to prevent Creon from doing it. Several people are going to come and say, you shouldn't do it. Leave this He's an autocratic leader. It's not a democracy in Thebes. You should leave out your ego trip of, saying I am the city and I am the law and I need to, and just people don't want it. Your wife doesn't want it. We learn quite late in the play that he's married. His son comes to him and say you shouldn't do it. Several people, and he's going to still do it. He's going to leave Antigone to die in a cave. And he's going to have a change of heart and want her to actually not die. But by the time she has decided to hang herself and to kill herself, which is an ultimate act of defiance against authority. She's saying, you don't get to kill me with your laws. I'll kill myself. So there's many frames. So Creon, and then the wife of Creon dies, kills herself, and then his son kills her. Like everyone dies. It's a Greek tragedy. So like in Shakespeare later, everyone dies in the end. But what Antigone embodies is a moment at which the frames of reference cannot help her anymore. There's not a clear mode of action. She's torn apart between frames of reference, the individual against the collective, the law against the tradition, the family against the city. Everything is pulling her apart, and that's a moment of, everything collapses. And that's an ethical dilemma. That's a moment where the rules contradict, the rules don't apply, the rules are not useful anymore. Even worse, they are destroying your ability to make a decision. So you see, the frames of reference are linked to ethics because they help us arbitrate between morality, right and wrong, legality, legal and illegal. And as long as we operate within these frames, we are very, very peaceful because, we're just following the rules, just applying. Everything is okay. If at a moment this overlap starts to be in a tension, doesn't work anymore, frames collide and you don't know what to do anymore, and you're torn and you have to make a decision. But this is also when you come to life as an ethical human being. Before that, you're just conforming, complying, going with the flow, applying rules that everyone applies. All of a sudden, in the dilemma, you have to decide for yourself, what are your values? So the ethical dilemma is a great moment of tragedy. There's a beautiful chapter in Les Misérables by Victor Hugo. I won't go into the detail but where Jean Valjean doesn't know what to do, and there's an entire chapter called Tempête sous un crâne, the storm in the skull. He spends an entire night wondering what he should do, and that's exactly what the dilemma is. It's painful, it's powerful, it's difficult, but it's also when we decide things for ourselves, and that's when we actually come to life in terms of ethics.